Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Jaylee's Corner. I am, of course, Jaylee, and this is my video review for Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. This is like episode 3, I believe, of season 1. But first things first, as always, guess what I want you to do? Yes, that is correct. Please subscribe to my channel. You just hit the little subscribe button, and all it does is let you know when I have a new video up. It doesn't cost you anything. I love new subscribers, as I've always said. And please also like my video and share my video. But you have to first subscribe to my channel. So thank you in advance for subscribing, because I know you will. So let's just go ahead and get started with this review. The last episode ended with Brandon talking to his mom, Deb Atney, who was also Waka Flocka's mom. And it's about the foolishness between him and Reginae. This episode is continued on from there. The whole episode was basically about that situation of Brandon and Reginae, and also Zonnique. So, yeah. Brandon talking to Deb, I like the conversation because I think he went to her because, one, she's his mom, and he probably felt like, okay, she gonna back me up right or wrong, which most parents do. Not Deb Atney, no ma'am. What Deb did was checked his ass and was like, boy, she basically said, why the fuck is you arguing with children? Because again, Reginae is 17, Brandon is in his 20s. So yeah, why are you arguing with a child where it escalates to a point of it's an actual issue? She said how, if a kid is pissing me off and they trying to get up under my skin, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to get into a disagreement, because it's a kid and you're an adult. Why do you argue with children? It's stupid. So I like how she didn't let him off the hook for his stupidity. Because for one, it's just dumb to argue with children, point blank, period. He wanted her to come as a mom, not as manager, not as thinking about the big picture of things. But she made a really good point, and yes, I'm looking at my notes. She made a really good point that if a beef happens, it's going to include all the families. And Brandon stupidly just doesn't think of the fact that Reginae is the daughter of Lil Wayne and Toya. Zonnique is the daughter of T.I. and Tiny. Those are fathers who you've seen, get a little riled up. So it's like, why would you want to go at their daughter? For one, you're a grown man, and two, you're a man, they're females. So I get how she said, if this escalates, and it brings all the families into it. Because then that brings in your brother, Waka. It brings in T.I. It brings in different things that you don't want to happen. And even though Reginae is, she gets on my nerve and she has a mouth on her, she is still a child. So sometimes you have to learn to walk away from children. Reginae also needs to learn to shut the fuck up, but that's a story for a different day. It was weird because Brandon kept making it seem like Reginae was the aggressor. And I don't think she was the aggressor. I do think that she was standing up for Zonnique more than she was just trying to be mouthy. Because that was how, or at least that's how it played out on the TV. I don't know what happened and how they cut and edit and cut and paste and copy and paste or whatever. But what they showed was her just saying, Brandon saying how Zonnique looked dumb or whatever, and how she did not look good, and Reginae stood up for her friend. It started from that point on. So I like how Dad was like, you can't argue with kids because it's going to escalate. Even though their conversation couldn't even go further, they both were like, I don't want to talk about it no more. Take my mic off. It's like, y'all on TV. Calm the fuck down. Next part of it was DJ Hurricane's daughter, I think her name was pronounced Ayanna. When she was in the car driving, like, yeah, I got, a boo, and my boo ain't been answering the phone, and, not answering the phone, and not responding to texts, and it was long distance, 2-year situationship. First of all, a situationship means you're fucking. It's just the proper way to say that. Excuse my French. But, I mean, it is. That's what it was. And if you have a situationship, sometimes that person don't answer the phone. But what you don't do is be like, well, I call and your phone is ringing, so I know your battery not dead. And I'm texting you, and it said that you saw it, so you're ignoring me. Why are you stalking this person? They don't want to talk to you. And if a person don't want to talk to you, keep it moving, boo-boo. I'm not going to be on camera chasing nobody. Point blank and period. But she sure enough was like, that just means I gotta pop up to your place because her long distance person has moved to Atlanta. I'm not stalking nobody. Not at my 35-year-old age. I'm not doing that. When I was young, as I think they are, I guess I did do dumb stuff like that. But, I mean, I'm like, for what? It's so many fish in the sea. If you don't like fish, go get a hot dog. Who knows? But don't be on TV, like, stalking someone just so that, I don't know why. So, she goes to her little boo-boo house, and turns out her boo-boo is a female. Yes, she is a lesbian. And her girlfriend, the girl who's her friend, who she's sleeping with, has moved to Atlanta and is ignoring her. But even she said when she popped up to old girl house, she was like, don't be popping up to my house. First of all, if we've been in a 2-year situationship and I know your address and you tell me don't pop up to your house, clearly you're doing something that you don't want me to see. Or we're not at that level where I can pop up. If I can't pop up, I don't want to be with you. Okay? I should be able to pop up, call at 4 o'clock in the morning. I should be able to do whatever I feel is necessary because we're in this relationship. But clearly, they ain't more than just bed buddies. Because the girl, who I don't know what her name is, also was like, I'm not ready to meet your family. I'm not ready to meet your dad. I'm not ready to commit. This person not ready to commit. But I also wonder, if you're not ready to commit, why did you move to Atlanta and you on this show with me? I never get that when a person, moves across country to be closer to someone, but then don't want to commit. Then stay your ass in New York. Don't come here and think you're going to be in my neck of the woods and we're not going to, be together. I guess that's how Ayanna felt as well. But she just came off very, very thirsty when she was calling. And I'm like, call once, call twice, call 3 times. After that point, ignore them. And when they call you, don't answer your phone call. Play that same game with them that they playing with you, boo-boo. Don't be that young fool. Don't be an old fool either. Just don't be a fool. So, I just can't, get into the whole, well, if you're not ready to meet my family, and if you ain't ready to commit, I'm going to have to leave. And because, once you're ready to commit, I'm not even going to be around. Don't threaten to leave. Just leave. Because threatening to leave is just an attention tactic. And it looks just pathetic a little bit. So, go play the field or whatnot. That's the thing that you should do. That's her, I guess that's going to be her storyline for this season. What else happened? Oh, Brandon. I wrote down little notes. Oh, yeah, Zonnique and Brandon, had the first conversation at the little restaurant or whatnot that didn't really go anywhere because as Brandon keeps saying to people, I'm not going to change. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be rude. Then, bitch, don't come talk to me. I don't get why Zonnique, I get that she's very mild-mannered. She's very calm. You need to check that motherfucker. Point blank and to the period. Because sometimes a person will consistently give you bull crap because you're letting them dish it to you. And we ain't gonna go out to eat and have a conversation. You're not gonna just keep talking like you crazy. You went to my photo shoot and you did say that I look crazy. And again, you are my vocal coach. If I ain't singing, shut it. Like, you shouldn't have any opinion. And if you have an opinion and it's negative, keep it to yourself. So it's like behind camera, Zonnique is getting fed up. But on camera, she's not expressing that she's aggravated. And that's the part that aggravates me, because I'm like, you are a grown woman. Just speak up and say, hey, I did not like how you was talking to me. I don't like how you were talking about me. And I don't like how you was talking to my friend. That's what I would have said. Because even though people have been saying both Reginae and both Brandon were wrong, Zonnique, Reginae was defending you against Brandon, who was, saying that you look stupid. It's okay to admit that was what happened and call him on his bullshit. Because you are an adult, more of an adult than Reginae is. And, Reginae can't keep going. Speak up for your damn self, Zonnique, basically. Just to the point. Because he called her a hooker. He said that I came in and you look like a hooker. Bitch, where? I mean, people, if you see other famous people who are changing up their styles, people have dressed way more hooker-ish than what she had on. So it's like, and Brandon, screw you. I just don't like Brandon. Just because you can't treat people like that. There's a difference between being an asshole and being hard on someone to make them better. It's a difference. And it's not even that you're blunt. You're more of an asshole than me. And I know I'm an asshole in real life. Like, I can get on people's nerves sometimes. But they love me. But yeah, I'm not, mean and rude and hateful towards people. Brandon is mean, rude, and hateful. That's just how he is. It's flat out. It was just crazy. Next. Bow Wow. I think it's funny that this show initially was probably geared towards Bow Wow being on it. And I can kind of care less about Bow Wow's story. Because all he seems to have done since he's been on here is go to the damn strip club and have parties. And, you at a strip club with, the Ayanna girl, and you teaching her how to throw ones. Like, what? Like, what? That's the thought that came to my head. Like, what is going on here? And how are you not in the studio? Like, if JD's calling you to come to the studio and you like, I'm tied up. No, you're not. You at a strip club with some titties and some boobs and some vaginas and you throwing ones. Like, go to the studio. Like, be productive. I don't get why people like to be in the strip club if you're supposed to be working. If you are an actual rapper. Like, I just don't get that. It just didn't make any sense to me. And then, why are you in a strip club with a jacket on? Like, take a jacket off. That irked my nerves too. So then even once Bow Wow got to the studio, he was drunk. He wasn't like pissy drunk, but he wasn't focused. He was a little bit intoxicated. And you can tell by the way he was trying to rap and he couldn't, because he couldn't focus because he was under the influence. And even JD saw it and JD left because JD's pissed off. Like, you wasting my time, bro. Like, that's really, you really just wasting my time. I want to punch you in the throat. Next up. Sorry, I'm looking down. I'm trying to get to these notes because I'm already at 13 minutes. JD's daughter Shania was meeting with the Ayanna girl. They were having a conversation over what happened. What I did not like about the conversation was Ayanna was defending her cousin, and you can tell that Shania, JD's daughter, wanted to say, but your cousin was wrong. But the girl, Ayanna, just kept talking. And it was like, basically Reginae and Brandon was arguing about nothing. They were getting on my nerve. But your cousin still, kept going. You brought up her, Reginae's dad. That was just stupid. You know what I'm saying? It was just dumb. And so I'm like, as they were talking, it was as if Ayanna didn't give Shania time to say her own comment. And when I seen her about to say, but Ayanna just kept talking. So I'm like, you defend family to the death of you, absolutely, but you also need to check your family when they're wrong and they out of pocket, especially when it's on TV. Because if not, you're going to look crazy like you're accepting or making excuses for their antics. So that part, I thought was crazy. So even when Shania brought Ayanna to the bowling alley to meet up with Zonnique and Reginae, And then her and Reginae is having this conversation, and Ayanna is still just defending her cousin and kind of saying, well, you went really hard at him first. Like, you started it. Well, bitch, yes, I did start it because he told my friend that she looked crazy. So, you know, that was actually what happened as far as what they showed on the TV. Again, I don't know what happened when it wasn't on, when they cut and paste and stuff. I don't know. But I just didn't like how, well, that's how family is. But still, I was looking like, you need to at least say, hey, y'all should just squash it. Y'all both was in the wrong, and let's leave it at that. But don't try to make it seem like it was more Reginae's fault than your cousin's fault. Because at the end of the day, your cousin is an adult. And he should have been the one to just walk away and let Reginae still be talking and looking crazy. But y'all shouldn't have an issue. And when Ayanna said, yeah, because if something would have happened, I got to put people in their place, it would have been a fight. Why even take the conversation there? Why not be it was just stupid. I was just over at that point, and I wanted them to just stop talking. When Tiny called Bow Wow, I was like, oh, is Bow Wow Olivia Pope now? Is he saving people? Is he the saver? Is he the fixer? Like, why is Tiny calling Bow Wow to fix something? I just didn't. I know it's for the show, but I was still confused. Like, what the fuck he gonna do? So all he did was call Zonnique and had the conversation, and she even said, Brandon was crazy. He comes off very, crazy like. He was saying stupid stuff. He brought up the Black Lives Matter thing. So she was even saying how she was tired of him, his antics, and how he was overdoing things. And Bow Wow said, well, yeah, because things can get really crazy when you do stuff like that. But I'm like, why ain't nobody saying this to Brandon? Like, why is he getting a pass from the cast of the show? Zonnique could have checked him. Bow Wow could have checked him. Point blank and period. Because y'all know he's saying crazy stuff, but no one's really saying, you sound crazy for doing that, because Lil Wayne is a legend in hip-hop. Like, how has no one said that to Brandon? The fuck? I don't get it. So, they had a conversation how they, gonna talk to Brandon. Okay, cool, whatever. When Brandon then goes to his mom to talk about the issue with Zonnique, and his mom was basically kind of like insinuating that Zonnique is coddled. Like, she hasn't had to do anything. But, as a celebrity child, sometimes that's just the cards you're dealt. You don't always have the hardest time. Sometimes things do come easy. And, that's just, it's not her fault that she was born into that family. But Brandon or even Dad saying, well, you have to kind of be hard on her so she can know that, that she has to do A, B, and C. So when Brandon had Zonnique come over, and he was like a complete asshole. And, just saying to her, like, it was almost like he was making her feel like she wasn't good enough and she was like a nobody. Like, where's your hit record? And, bitch, who is you? And like Zonnique, hit him back and said, well, who are you? Well, I'm Brandon so-and-so. I'm an artist development. But no, you're not. Like, you're nobody. Like, you're a vocal coach. You help me do stuff vocally, and that's it. So my thing was, she got back with him a little bit, but he was still he was just, when she came in, he barely said hello. When she went to give him a hug, he would not hug her this way. I mean, it's a difference. It's like I said before, it's a difference between giving that tough love to make somebody, have thicker skin, and being a complete asshole. And Brandon was being a complete asshole. And that's what made me mad, because I was like, you don't have to be an asshole to someone to make them know they should try harder. And then, and plus she is still new starting out. She probably has had her mom and them helping her along the way, so things are very easy. And she's not at an age where she's having to do it for herself, and she's making a few mistakes. But again, no one's heard of Brandon before now. People didn't even know Waka Flocka had another brother. So Brandon acting as if he just know all and be all, and he works with everybody around the biz. No one knows you, boo-boo. So you can't downplay another person who's trying to start out when that's what you're doing. Y'all are both on the same show. Y'all are both trying to get the same shine. So you can't downplay her as if you're better than her. Y'all are on the exact same show. And more people know her than they know you. Point blank. And I said point blank period too many times today, but I say that a lot just in real life. JD and Snoop Dogg having a conversation with Bow Wow. I forgot about that part. I like what they were saying to him. I said before that I felt like Bow Wow seems childish. Not in the fact that he's literally childish, but that he just doesn't, to me, seem like an adult. JD said the same thing. And even Snoop said to him, you should be better than JD. The reason Jermaine Dupri, is so hard on you is because he wants you to be better than him. And until you're better than him, he hasn't succeeded with you yet. And he feels like you aren't finished until you get to that point. So Bow Wow said he heard and he listened, but let's see if he get in the studio and do some real damn work. But let's be honest. At one point in time, Bow Wow was a platinum selling artist. He was selling out arenas. He was the shit. I know Bow Wow songs. I do wish he can get back to that level of music in an adult way. That's not kiddie-ish. But, people was fans of Bow Wow. That's why he's on this show now. But I think he has to let go of some of his childishness within himself to get it together. So, I do think that when T.I. and Lil Wayne see this show, I do think they're going to flip. I do think they're going to want to cuss Brandon the fuck out for how he talked to their daughters. And that's something else I think Brandon needs to understand, that you are talking to women or girls who have fathers involved in their lives. And the way you talk to Zonnique and even Reginae was rude, and it was disrespectful to them as women, and to Reginae as a child. So I can just imagine T.I. watching this episode and just him saying, I'ma fuck him up on sight. That's just what I imagine him saying, because you ain't gonna you are disrespecting them men, their daughters, and that's just bad shit crazy. And I do feel like Zonnique, when she was talking to Brandon, that she was crying, not because he hurt her feelings, but more because she's frustrated with having to defend herself to him when he basically isn't nobody. Like, he ain't nobody like he's nobody, but you're nobody to her. So she was frustrated. And I get that with the time when you're so frustrated that you can't deal with the emotion. You just start crying, and it's not because you hurt or like someone hurt your feelings. You're just so emotional that you just can't do nothing except get some tears out. The last thing that happened, Deb, Toya, Tiny. Tiny and Toya having a conversation about what happened with Brandon and their daughters, respectfully, two separate occasions. And then them going to have a conversation with Deb. Of course, this episode cut off before they can have that conversation. But, you can tell that all these mothers care about their children. So we have to wait until next week to see how the conversation goes. I do think they were cutting and pasting the scene today. I don't think it went from 0 to 100, but I did notice how Deb kind of shaded Tiny when Tiny said, well, yeah, Reginae was speaking up for my daughter because your son was talking about my daughter. And how Deb said, can you step to the side? Like, she dismissed Tiny as if Tiny was a nobody, which to me is crazy because Deb knows exactly who Tiny is. Come on now, we're not gonna play dumb. And y'all kids are all on the show. So I thought it was crazy for her to even sidestep Tiny like that. But I like how Toya said, you're not gonna just dismiss my sister as if she's not right here. And Tiny laughed because she was probably like, what the fuck? I don't get that part. But hey, Brandon is Deb's son. So as shady and as messy as Brandon is, Miss Deb could be the same way. Because I'm like, when you are talking, and because it was a situation with Zonnique too, so why would you sidestep Tiny when she was just saying, well, the reason Reginae went at Brandon like that was because she was defending my daughter. So I think the three of them could have had a conversation without Deb, pushing China to the side. So we shall see how the next episode goes. So far it is entertaining. I'm liking it. I'm over Bow Wow completely. I think Jermaine Dupri's daughter is going to be a mediator in all sorts of everything. I'm assuming this season is going to really be more about, Reginae, Zonnique, and Brandon, because they're bringing the most drama right now. So that is it for now. I will see you guys later at my next video. As always, please subscribe to my channel. Please like my videos. And please share my videos. See you later. Peace.